Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little bit of Firestone Walker up in this piece in the form of there. Yeah, this thing. My light's not on. I don't know why my light's not on. This thing. Mind Haze. It's their core line of their hazies. They were kind enough to send off a 12-pack of this, and I figured it's been a while since we've done a side-by-side, so let's do all three at the same time. So Mind Haze is like kind of their core line, hazy IPA. As far as what it says on the can here, it's 6.7% hazy tropical IPA, a California beer company. That's it. No pop. 6.7. Done. Canned on. This was canned on the 17th April. January, February, March, April. April 17th. So that's that. The middle one is their Brain Melter Hazy Imperial IPA, 8.5%. Again, no story time. And 417. They must run these actually in tandem and go right into the 12 packs. That's my assumption now. Because this is 417 also. And this is their Cosmic Crusher. It says Juicy Imperial, 9.5%. For all intents and purposes, it's a triple IPA. Done and done. Basically the same labeling pretty much over and over again. Minus the coloration in that little kind of center section. So I don't mind it. I don't hate on it. Let's do this. I want to do it this way. I want light to heavy. That's how I'm going to do it. I actually went and purposely made sure I got similar glasses, even though they have different branding on them. We'll go from there. Yeah, do I really want to open three hazies, two of which are Imperials in one time? No. But I have a case of this stuff. Well, half a case. 12-pack. So we'll do it. We'll allow it. Let's do this one. Okay. Okay. Sucker pour. Okay. Tracking. That one's a little bit darker. I'll put this sucker over here. So yeah, as far as these beers look, they are kind of all very similar as far as coloration goes. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to sit here and get nitpicky, I could see a gradient in color. The haze level on all of them are pretty much identical. So the density of the haze, the level of the haze is identical. It's just, I mean, it's we're talking, you know, subtle SRM difference going from here to here. Obviously on screen you should be able to tell the difference a bit more than I can. But you can see, definitely goes from lighter to medium to darker. Definitely has that orange core. Not super turbid, like I said. It just has a nice haze to it, but nothing too rich and robust. And all the heads look almost identical here. So let's give this one a whirl. Let's give this one a huff. Yeah, all the tropical fruit. Citrus tropical fruit abounds on this sucker. I mean, it just has this guava, passion fruit, citrus, pineapple kind of mixture that's really, really vibrant. It smells very much real fruit juice, like nothing artificial there. Maybe leans a little bit into like a Orange Julius or Sunny D kind of thing, but it really has this nice big rich tropical vibe to it. I don't think if you get a nose on these, you confuse them with anything but a hazy IPA if they're blind. So let's dive into the double, see where that one lands. Much more muted. Very weird. I mean, I'm getting similar to this, but especially going from this to this. Let's go from this to this and see what happens. You know, similar nose, maybe a decent amount of tropical knocked off there, so a bit more citrus. Yeah, this one, much more vibrant of a nose. Very much more juicy, very much more tropical. Over here, a bit less of that tropical. Still has that citrus, but impactful-wise, really just not bringing it. So, kind of curious to see where this triple lands. Okay. There's something here different about this one. And it's a fruitiness, and it's a different type. Oh, wait a minute. Is that pininess? Is that green grassiness? There's a green portion of the show over here, which I'm really kind of... It's odd because none of these two over here didn't give me anything close to that. Yeah, it's almost like a slightly winter greeny piney thing. At least aromatically, that's what I'm getting on that sucker. that is a super cool twist on that big tropical one. Man, that's a fun nose. It's a really cool roller coaster ride to go on because you're going from this one, which is so vibrant and juicy. This one's kind of a bit of a letdown, although, you know, double IPA thought it'd be a little bit more. And this one over here, well, maybe just a hair below this one still aromatically when it comes to those fruit flavors. It pops that little bit of winter greeny, kind of green grassy thing on this sucker that is super fun. Super, super fun. 7 and taste, base. Yeah, it's not shabby, man. I mean, it really does lack the mouthfeel you really, really want from a world-class hazy IPA. But as far as a drinkable hazy, it comes off quite nice. Fully attenuated here. Really no residual sugar on this sucker whatsoever. Finishes pretty darn dry. So I kind of appreciate that for a 6, almost 7% hazy. The nose kind of leads you to believe you're going to get a bit more from it, being how big and juicy and tropical it is. It definitely is there. It follows suit in the taste, but it's just not at that level the nose brings. So it's a little bit of a letdown, but I mean, again, it's minimal. It's nothing crazy. It's so attenuated, there's almost a little bit of chalkiness to it. Not in the sense that like some of these super turbid IPAs come out chalky. It has just this ultra dryness to it. At least that's the way it's coming out for me. So it just lends itself to being a little bit extra dry. Not hating on it, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe chalky is the word I shouldn't be using here. But you just want to keep that in mind. A lot of people like their hazy IPAs, like that little bit of lingering sweetness. You're not really going to get it here with the base. It very much tastes like a West Coast brewery making a New England style hazy IPA. Let's put it that way. Let's dive into the double. Cheers. Yeah. See, that, it's weird. The nose from here goes from here to here. The taste goes from here to here. Kind of makes a little bit more sense on the palate. You can taste the stepping up here. There's a little touch more bittering. There's a little bit actually more impactful fruitiness on this one, even though the nose lets you down a little bit. And there is a touch of sweetness on the finish. Not crazy, it's not cloying, but you can tell there's a little bit of residual sugar left over, so it comes off very much so as a double IPA. Again, very much following suit with this one. Very similar as far as experience. Not a huge turbid beer, not going to be confused with a S tier New England style IPA, but as far as a West Coast brewery making New England style hazies, it is very much that's what it tastes like. It tastes like we can't get away of having that little bit of bitterness and having that. I don't want to say cleanliness. It definitely doesn't look like clean beer in the more traditional sense of the word. But you can tell there's a bit more of a West Coast mindset when it comes to the brewing process. Probably the best way I could. I actually like this one quite a bit. If you can give me this nose and this, 8.5%. It's not something I'm going to be drinking all the time, but could be fun. Triple. What is going on with this beer? Okay. Full disclosure. I like this, but I'm almost positive they're using some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Adjunct. And by that I mean, like, you know, when it comes off Flintstone vitamin-y to me. I can get down with that stuff, but if you ever had like the Ballast Point fruited beers or fruited IPAs, to a certain extent, you know, New Belgium with their fruit force and stuff like that, it just has this artificial fruitiness to it. That's what this kind of comes off to me. I confused it with a greeny minty thing on aromatic, and I understand why I could do that, because when I'm tasting it, what it tastes like to me is an underripened nectarine. If I bit into an underripened nectarine and bit some of the leaf and stem with it. It has that kind of almost vegetal kind of vibe to it. I don't see how you create these flavors from organic means. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't do it. I can't figure it out. I don't, maybe, listen, Firestone Walker is an amazing brewery. They make so many amazing beers. Maybe they have some magic F-doggery that I don't understand, which is certainly, could be the point. But dollars to donuts, brass tacks, all those, whatever you call them, idioms, right? Is that an idiom? I'd be willing to bet that there's some kind of additive, fruit flavor additive to this beer. I'm curious if they call out anything like that. Okay. I think I win this one. On the side here, it says Hazy India Pale Ale, 6.7% alcohol by volume. Over here it says Hazy Imperial India Pale Ale, 8.5% alcohol by volume. Over here it says Imperial India Pale Ale with natural flavors, 9.5% alcohol by volume. With natural flavors. So what is there? What is it? Is it an added juice? Is it pulpiness? Is it whatever? I don't know. But I know it's not hop derived. And I know some breweries that can get in this ballpark Venn diagrammy flavor profile with hops. Just not the way this is coming off. But I'll go back to what I originally said when I started talking about this particular beer. I actually think it's tasty. I think it's tasty, but you have to kind of compartmentalize it. You have to separate it. Is it an extremely tasty beer? That's up for debate. Is it a very tasty beverage? I think that's true. And very much the same as a lot of these fruit smoothies or sour IPAs, stuff like that. We're throwing all these different things in them. They're just kind of, they're a bit more away from beer than you typically expect. More specifically, these two come off very much like beer, whereas this one has a little bit of extra going on with it. Is that going to be your cup of tea? I don't know, but it just. So when I talk about hazies, a lot of times I'll go into this kind of diatribe of carbonic acid. Okay? And how I'm sensitive to it. Carbonic acid, basically seltzer water flavor. That's the taste I'm talking about. And I'm hypersensitive to it. And a lot of breweries use it to kind of beef up a bittering and add balance. I'm hypersensitive to it, so while a lot of other people might not be sensitive to it, I am, so sometimes it can disconnect me from a beer. That's what this added natural flavor does. It disconnects me from the beer. It makes me go, oh, okay, this is tasty, but something's amiss here. Something's going on. So yeah, that's weird because it's weird if I boil this down to just straight, is it an enjoyable flavor profile of a liquid intake? That sounded weird to say. Yes. But if we judge them on beer, man, this one's very much distant third because, one ABV. You know me, I love my low ABV stuff. None of these are crazy low ABV, but when you combine that super high ABV with that just Firestone vitamin E vibe, it just kind of ends up being third place for me from a distance. Over here, we're talking about a little bit different of a game. If you give me, again, like I said, this aromatic in this beer, it's really good stuff. Honestly, it's really tasty stuff, especially from the not super huge turbid side of IPA. You're talking, you want something a little bit less turbid, a little bit more drinkable, even though it is high in ABV. I'm just talking about drinkability. Man, they really do stand out. I'm probably going to go with the lower ABV one as my number one if we're going to rank them as far as everything goes. But man, side by side, as a next to each other or one following the other, drink one of these, drink one of these, I think it's a really good thing. And going into this, if you're into that kind of flavor, and I'm again, that's why I brought up the whole carbonic acid thing. You might not be bothered by that. You might be a fan of the Fruit Force. You might be a fan of those kind of beers. I am not, but if you are, this is probably a really, really good solid 12 pack, especially when you're talking about, if you're in the hazies like that. So yeah, that's that in the books. We got to do the QV. Just because that's how we do. but we're going to do it different. We're actually going to do these two together, because I think these two together is probably the best of all worlds. And then we're going to throw that sucker in the mix and see where we end up. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously a little bit muted on the nose compared to this one, but much more vibrant on the nose. And just more words are hard, especially when you're doing three hazy side by side. Much more vibrant on the taste. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it for reals now. Not for fakes. For reals. This Super Cuvee. Let's do this. Can we do this and not knock everything over? I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Oh, you can't see that high. There you go. Power right there. Give it a whirl. Looks the same. Yeah, you still get a little bit of that kind of Firestone vitamin-y thing. Much better than its base. But these two in combo, not too shabby. So there you go. Reviewing the books. I'm going to move these before I break everything. Yeah, so there you go. Side by side review in the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Mount Rushmore status, Hazies, no. I mean, it's hard pressed to get in that mountain. Tasty, yeah, no. Individual wise, in a conversation, sure, fine, we'll put in a conversation, no. Value availability, it's Firestone Walkers, so they should be readily available to most people out there. We get them over here in Jersey. I don't see why you'd get them, wouldn't get them anywhere else. Price point, that'd be interesting. I'm assuming this is coming right around that $20 to $23 price point. Man, if all you drink is Hazies and you dig on that triple, then this is kind of like a killer 12 pack for you. And leave you with, if you like what we like these, if you like Hazy IPA, and you don't mind that kind of Flintstone vitamin kind of vibe, you'll dig these. There you go. Reviewing the books. Very long one. I'm looking at my camera right now. We're at 17 minutes. Good God. I apologize. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Down there if you want to talk about it, especially if you've been to the brewery, had these beers. Especially if you've had these beers. What's your thoughts on the Mine Haze, the whole kit and caboodle? Have you had this kit? Have you had all of them? What are your thoughts? All that fun stuff down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of three-way haze. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.